Hey everyone, thank you so much for being here for another episode of Your Competitive Edge from Baird and Warner. I'm Lauren Walker. I'm Senior Director of Strategy here at Inman. And today we are upping our game and jumping in with both feet because we're going to talk about training and technology. And that's why I get to be here with Eddie Matea today. Eddie, hi. Thank you so much for being here.
Hey, Lauren, it's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, why don't you jump in and tell us a little bit about your background because you are the perfect person to have this conversation with.
Okay, so I've been with Baird and Warner for 17 years. I was a top producing agent for about a dozen of those years at our Downers Grove office. And then I was assistant manager in the Downers Grove office as well. And then I became the sales training manager for Baird and Warner, and I train basically all of the new agents that come through that we hire, and then all the experienced agents. I go out and do training in all the offices and spend time with all of the agents.
Fantastic. Well, that is exactly why you're here because we want to talk about what are the resources, what are you seeing? You know, you've got your finger on the pulse of for new agents and existing agents who are coming into Baird and Warner. So, would you start us off and talk a little bit about new agents coming into the industry, coming into Baird and Warner? What are you seeing, and how does Baird and Warner support them?
Well, we support our new agents, and we have a program, and it's called Achieve. And
Mm-hmm.
what we do is we have our brand new agents come in, and they spend 6 full days with us, learning everything there is to know about our technology, about how to sell, about everything from what do we have to do to generate a lead, to capture that lead, to make that lead become your client, and then every soup to nuts regarding listing presentations, buyer presentations, how to negotiate contracts, the whole thing, in order to make sure that when they finally do go out and they're out there in front of a client, that they're ready to go and they know exactly what they're doing.
So it's like a boot camp. So
Exactly.
they're coming in and getting it. So the question is, how in the world are you doing that in a COVID-19 world?
Well, I'll tell you, it was a real challenge because we spend, those 6 full days, and they're not short days; they're full work days,
Yeah.
in the classroom, giving them the information, all those things. But what we've done is we've taken some time and really thought about this. And what we've done is we've created a kind of a virtual Achieve, I'll call it,
Mm-hmm.
and they spend 2 hours on a webinar with me in the morning, where we go over all of the things that we feel are important that they need live. And we have discussions so they understand they're allowed to ask questions. They can raise their hand. They can get those things answered. And then we've also created videos for them to watch. So once they've finished their time and Achieve with me in the morning, then they're assigned videos that they go on and watch that we've also created. And they go out there, they watch the videos and get the information regarding the tools and the tech tools that we have, and all of the other instruments that we have in order for them to generate business and capture it. And then at the end of the day, after they've done all that, then we circle back for some time in the afternoon where they log back on, and we kind of wrap up the day, and we say, okay, what questions do you have from the videos? Is there anything that you didn't understand? Because this is a living thing right now. Since we've just started it, that we want to make sure that we're giving them everything possible in order for them to be successful. So I want to get the feedback from them at the end of the day as well, so that if I know that I can go back, that we need to up our game on this point, or we're giving them everything they need on another point, just to make sure, because it's tough out there right now. There's a lot of moving parts out there. Things are changing, day to day regarding what's going on just in society. And we want to make sure that whatever they need, this is the place where they can get it.
Sure. And this is happening across the company because I've talked with Sarah. She was telling us about the webinars that you guys are doing on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And if I recall correctly, you're the Wednesday guy.
I am the Wednesday guy. So what we did with Wednesdays is, because we really dove into this and took a deep dive to decide, when this turns, what is going to be the one thing that our agents are really going to need in order, because agents, they need to make money, they need to survive.
Mm-hmm.
What are they going to need in order to make sure that they can support their families or their loved ones or themselves or achieve their goals? And what we really found out was listings are really going to drive the market when we come out of this. So we decided that we would do a Wednesday seminar where we would do specifically about listings. And I was always a listing heavy agent, carried a
Mhm.
lot of listings, and really prided myself in my business in that. So basically what I did is I took my entire listing presentation, everything that I did for every client, and created a workbook for them, which is basically a menu.
Oh, wow.
So, and just gave it to the agents. So any agent in the company has access to this. So they can go out and they can say, okay, what does Baird and Warner offer? What can we do in order to make sure that we get the listing? What can we do that once we've listed the property, how do we sell it, and how do we make the seller happy, and then how do we get referral business in the future from it? And it's just basically a menu of exactly how to do that, and how to work step by step through there.
That's pretty powerful. So how has that material and really how has the listing presentation changed when people are on, social distancing, they're on lockdown requirements. So what are you guys doing to adapt that
Well,
process right now?
that's really interesting because we've created a virtual listing presentation. So not only do you have all the access to everything that we have, but you can do it virtually. So we can do it, through Zoom or through Google Hangouts, whichever is easier for you. And what happens is our marketing department has created a slide presentation where it has all the information about what Baird and Warner has, what Baird and Warner does, but it is editable, so you can drop in your own slides with, this is something that I do special, or this is, an extra feature that we're going to add, or this is what an ad looks like when I take an ad out on Google for you, and this is what one of my properties looks like when I do that, which is one of the things that we do. And so they can do that, and they can do it all virtually. They don't even necessarily even need to be face to face with the client in the property. It can all be done, in the comfort of your home as the agent or in the office, and then the client never needs to leave their dining room table and can
Wow.
get all the information.
So
So,
what are you seeing on the ground? What's happening with the new virtual real estate, especially with what you guys are doing in your market?
well, I'll tell you that there's a couple of things that are really interesting, and I think that this is a real opportunity right now for agents, especially agents here at Baird and Warner, to separate themselves from everybody else that's out there,
Yeah.
because it's an opportunity. Number one, we can do a virtual listing presentation. We can do a virtual buyer's presentation where you present property to the buyers. It's even gotten to the point now where you, as the buyer, don't even have to go to the home. I can, via Zoom or Google Hangouts or FaceTime, I can schedule an appointment. I can go to the property and I can take you through the entire property. You can be online with me. We can walk through it. You can tell me to open the closet. You can tell me to open the drawers, or and just look at everything. And then what we can do is, instead of, you never have to leave your couch. So if maybe you have a dozen or 15 properties that you are interested in, I, as the agent, can go out there,
Yeah.
go through these properties with you virtually, and then you can narrow it down to 2 or 3 properties that you really like, and then we can schedule actual appointments when you can go and view the property.
Right. Right. So you guys had a pretty big weekend last weekend. We were talking about that where you had all these virtual open houses. Can you talk me through that?
Okay, yeah, it was super cool. So what happened was, we decided that, we have listings out there, and we've seen from the buyer clients out there and the seller clients that want to actually sell their house, the buyers that want to buy, that the consumer is actually interested in looking at properties. We could tell, through hits on our websites and, internet leads that are coming in, that people are actually out there looking, and they're looking at property. So what we decided is that in order to generate business for our agents, we had a virtual open house weekend. So what that was is we put out instructions for our agents about how to hold a virtual open house. Our marketing department came through with cool graphics. We put all this advertising together. And what happens is our agents went out and they did virtual open houses either through YouTube or on Facebook Live.
Mhm.
And the average agent had 220 views during their virtual open house and 6 interactions. And what I mean by an interaction is somebody messaged them during the open house that says, hey, can we see the bedroom again? Or can you take us down into the basement? Or this is a cool listing. And part of that is what we instruct our agents are, if you're interested in this property, when people are messaging them, if you're interested in this property, PM me or send me an email or whatever. I can set up a showing for this listing for you, because these listings are available for sale. And I think a lot of, regular consumers didn't realize, hey, there's people can look at property.
Yeah.
So that was huge because there were 900 open houses in the entire Chicagoland MLS that weekend, and 500 of them were Baird and Warner listings. And I will tell you, 500 of the 900 were our agents doing virtual open house. So we kind of cornered the market a little bit
Yeah,
that weekend. But we sold a ton of houses that weekend because agents got leads, properties sold, our buyers were happy, our sellers
sure.
were happy. It was literally a game changer. So it was super, and it got, and got our agents back working again, because
Yeah.
I just think that we need to never, things may never be normal again, the way
Right.
we knew things to be normal, and that's okay. But the more normal that we can get it, I think the better off everybody will be in the long run.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that shows real adaptability. And I think it speaks to Baird and Warner's um, use of technology, that it's really baked into the brokerage. Can you
It
talk
is.
a little bit about the tech stack?
So we have several different things that we have in our tech stack. So the main thing that we have in our tech stack is KV Core. We
Hmm.
use KV Core as our, it's not only a CRM for us, but it's also a lead generation tool, because our agents can use it. And this is the best part: you can generate leads for free. So there's no cost. Like Baird and Warner gives you this technology, so you don't have to pay for anything. So if they give you a CRM, they give you the ability to generate leads for free, through the use of social media and through different avenues through KV Core. And those leads all are your leads. Like there's nothing else. Whatever leads you generate, it's all for you. So we have that, as well as this other technology we have is called Buy Side. And
Hmm.
inside Buy Side, we use that in our listing presentation. And what that does is, when I go out on a listing presentation, or virtually when we do a listing presentation now, we use Buy Side in order to show people where people are searching for property like theirs online right now. So we're able to go out and through the different relationships to see where, okay, is there a high demand for a property similar to yours? And if there is a high demand, what can we create in order to get a frenzy going so we can get the most amount of money for you? Or is there not a high demand for a property like yours? So in that case, we have to make sure that we price it correctly so we can get it sold, for the most amount of money that we can for the client. So it really assists us in that. And also through Buy Side, it has another cool feature where it helps us generate seller leads for people that are actively looking to sell their house, because it gives them we can send this out again through social media,
Yeah.
and people can look and see what the value of their home is. And when they do that, we capture their information, and then we can follow up with them and say, hey, listen, I know that you got information about what your property is worth through the AVMs that were available, but really you should have an agent come out there to give you a true value of what your property is worth, to see where you fit in the market. And that's all part of that suite. And then, we also have, the G Suite as well, where we have Google Hangouts and Google Meets and all these other things that we can use in order to make sure that we can, fulfill all of the things that the client's looking for.
That's a pretty substantial tech stack right there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So you're training, you're leading the training, you're seeing the crops of agents coming in, whether they're experienced or whether they're newly licensed. What are some of the obstacles that you see to tech adoption kind of across the board?
Well, I would say that the newer agents that are coming into the market today are more having an easier time adapting to the technology,
Mhm.
because they don't have any preconceived notions about how real estate used to be done or
Right.
how it was done in the past. So, because I really believe that, with what's going on, in society right now, we've been probably thrust 3 to 5 years into the future,
Hmm.
really abruptly over the last 2 or 3 months.
Yes.
So with having to do, I mean, just look what we're doing now. Normally we would probably be in the same room having this discussion or whatever, and now we're doing it, virtually.
Yeah.
So, it's so the same thing's happening with the clients. So people are working from home. They're using different technologies in order to communicate with their own, in their own jobs. They expect us to be able to do the same things that they're doing with their own jobs, with the sale or purchase of their home.
Yeah.
So we have to, be able to adapt to that quickly. So the people that are new that are coming in, they just know that this is what I need to do to sell. Now, for some of the experienced agents, there's a little bit of, I don't want to say hesitancy, but concern because they want to make sure that they've mastered this and
Yeah,
they know exactly what they're doing. But you know what? It's better to just to do it and to feel it and to get it out there because there's, maybe it's wrong, but I always had the thought process of it's easier to ask for forgiveness than there is to get permission. So I just want to make sure that I can get this out there to the client and to fulfill their needs to make sure that I'm serving them to the highest and best way that they can. And I think that most of the agents here at Baird and Warner feel the same way. It's just that some of the experienced agents are having a little bit of a hesitancy towards the new technology. But I think over the long run, with the training that we have and the constant updating that we're doing with all these agents and the ability that we have in order to make sure that, through our managers and our assistant managers and all the support that we have, that, everybody, in a short time frame should be all on board and at least feel comfortable in doing, more and more of the
sure.
technology.
Right. And so you've got the onboarding, you've got the 6-day Achieve program, you've got, the training out resources that you're creating. So how do you do as much as you can to ensure success? I mean, how do you ensure compliance and adoption of these tech tools?
Well, I think it's a lot of it is follow up with the agents and asking them, we need success stories. Tell me what you're doing that's working for you. And the cool part about being here, and it's one of the reasons that I love working at Baird and Warner, is that it's really an all for one attitude in this company. Like the competition is out there and we don't really have to worry about, we'll just take care of what we have going on inside here because we're going to take care of our own things. And because there's no competition really inside of our company between agents, I feel, because you could turn to any agent in the workroom and they'll help you if you have a question. There's a high level of camaraderie in here. And I feel that causes, good things to happen. Rising tide raises all boats. But also I feel like if I go out there and I ask for people for feedback,
Yeah.
tell me what's working, tell me what's not working, tell me where the feedback is. And they're happy to say, listen, this really worked for me. This is a success story that I've had, or this is what I see in the market. And I think it would benefit all the rest of the agents. Or even if it's like, I'm really having a challenge here. Well, guess what? If you're having a challenge here, I bet you other people are having a challenge there as well. So what can we do in order to make sure that we overcome whatever that challenge is? Because there's just a lot of sharing and there's a lot of, just like, what can I do in order to make sure that everybody is moving forward?
That's pretty inspiring.
It's true. I think this was part of the reason that, it's part of the reason that I came here and it's part of the reason that we stay.
Fantastic. And 17 years later, here we are.
Here we are still here.
That's great. Well, Eddie, thank you so much. I think this is really helpful to help the audience get a look inside Baird and Warner and understand how technology and training come together to, hopefully set everyone up for success.
Thank you, Lauren.
Thanks, Eddie. Take care.